Hello, and welcome. Happy Monday, everyone. I am super excited to be here with you this evening. It is September 16th, 2024. And before I dive into today's huge topic, I just want to double check to make sure I'm streaming where I need to be. So if you do hop in and I seem a little distracted, just know that I'm looking to make sure I'm where I need to be so I can connect with everybody and that everybody can connect with me. So hang in there with me. Let's have a little fun. If you are watching from, whoops, and then everybody can connect. If you are watching from YouTube, whoops, what's going on here? If you are watching from YouTube, take a moment and let me know that you are here by hitting that thumbs up button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel just yet, please do me the honor of subscribing to share this out as well. I would appreciate that. And checking in to make sure I'm on Twitter. So if you're watching from Twitter, say hello to me. Let me know that you are there. And then finally, checking in on Facebook land. And I am live on Facebook. I'm just going to take a minute just to share it out onto my groups. So give me just a second. Letting everybody know that we are here. And there we have it for now. And then we're just going to holler some folks in. Because this is definitely a conversation that you definitely want to be a part of. All right, and whoever jumps in, jumps in. So again, welcome. Happy Monday. It is Monday, September 16, 2024. I am presenting. I'm your host, Joanne Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness. And why? I serve women over 40, helping them to get strong, reminding them that weights are their friend. I am a Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. I'm a self-published author, written 6 books, and I have co-contributed or co-created to over a dozen books as well. So again, super excited to be here with each and every one of you tonight to share insight with you. Tonight's title, a very interesting title. The title is The First Saturn Return. Now before I dive in, let me just explain so you'll understand what a Saturn return is. Every one of our planets, for most part, other than Pluto, I believe, we go through some return based on when that particular planet is at, whether it's the exact timing, the exact degree of the sign it's in on your chart. So for example, Saturn happens to be in Pisces, collectively speaking. So any of you out there who have Saturn in Pisces, this would be your Saturn return. And hopefully, if you are astute in your astrology chart, you will know that you have Saturn in Pisces on your chart. Now, the house that Saturn sits in on your chart is going to give you the theme to where the energy of this return will be. So what exactly is Saturn? You may be asking this question, and the answer to that question is Saturn is responsible for your structure, your foundation, discipline, and karmic reset. Now, if you follow me regularly, you know that I use the word karmic reset, and to remind you that this is not about the energy of what goes around comes around, so to speak. This is really about your karmic reset. Any of your karmic energies, any of your karmic contracts. Now, if you're not familiar with contracts, the term contracts or agreements, know that these are the very, I'm going to use the word agreements because I'm sure you're familiar with that. The very agreement that you have made way before you came on Earth. And these agreements are with people, places, and situations. And when we think about a Saturn energy, that's that contract that is surrounded by that karmic energy. So whatever you may be experiencing, specifically those who do carry Saturn in Pisces, you may be experiencing different lessons that are being highlighted right now that may look like chaos, may look like challenges, or obstacles. Now, I do want to keep in mind and help you make a bigger picture of this, understand this better, is we do have other planets that are in Pisces right now besides Saturn. Specifically, as we speak today, we have the moon, which is a partial lunar eclipse moon in Pisces, which is amplifying this energy of Saturn so much more. And then in addition to, we have Neptune that has been in Pisces and in retrograde for that matter. Now, in case the word retrograde is new to you, the word retrograde means the energy is slowing down and gives us an opportunity to review, reflect, restore, recharge, reboot, maybe renew, and release. So I'm just going to give you a minute just to take that all in. And see how that sits with you. Now, what I like to do is just share a little bit more about the age period of when we experience a Saturn return. There are exactly three periods, three ages, or period of time, cycles of time, that we go through a Saturn return. The first Saturn return, I believe, is the most challenging because it really is about moving out of your childhood mindset and moving into adult responsibilities. This occurs between the age of 27 to 30. It can start at 27 and move right through 30 because it does last 2.5 to 3 years. Or it can start at 28, it can start at 29, or it can even start at 30. And we'll go through that 2.5 year to 3 year period where you will experience self-reflection, self-growth, challenges, as I mentioned earlier. And this is really about uniting adulthood, coming out of the umbrella of your parents taking responsibility and making decisions for you, and you making decisions for yourself. What I'm hearing from Spirit is this could very well be a period of time where it's about tough love, where you may experience a challenge that can really fall into the category of experiencing tough love from the people around you, which could be really sticky, icky, and funky. And those are the words I hear from Spirit. Those are the three words that Spirit literally said: sticky, icky, and funky. Because during this time period, when you are going through this challenge, the one thing you may be looking for is for someone to support you, for someone to cuddle you, for someone to protect you. And that may not necessarily be what you are receiving. Because again, this is self-reflection. When you literally look in the mirror, or you're looking at other people are mirroring at you certain things that need to either be changed or completely released altogether. So just taking a moment just to think about the self-reflection aspects of things. Where are you right now on your journey? Should you be in your Saturn return? And again, how do you know if you're in a Saturn return? Look at your natal chart, and you'll see that Saturn is sitting in Pisces on your natal chart, which is the exact collective energy that we have going on right now. And whatever house that's in for you is going to be the theme to where these challenges may very well show up. At some point during this live, I will go over all the definitions to each house. So whatever house you may have your Saturn return in, you will have an understanding to what the theme may be for you. So again, just to regroup before I move on to the next age group, the first Saturn return occurs between the ages of 27 through 30. It can start at 27, it can start at 28, it can start at 29, it can start at 30. Whatever time frame it starts, it will last 2.5 to 3 years, where you will experience, and I use the word will, it's not about might, you will experience a self-reflection, self-growth, some challenges, and this is initiating adulthood. So again, I'm going to just give you a minute to pause and think about that. Now, the second stage where we experience a Saturn return occurs in the late 50s. So, for example, for me, I have Saturn in Taurus. Let's step back a second. If you have Saturn in Aries, so again, looking at your chart, if you have Saturn in Aries, you will then be experiencing your Saturn return, your second Saturn return, as Saturn enters Aries, May 24th of 2025. And will stay in Aries for about 3 years. And there will be a period of time where Saturn will retrograde back into Pisces. So again, those with the Saturn Pisces energy will experience some more energy happening during that period of time when Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces. And that energy will take place during August 31st of 2025 to February 13th of 2026. So again, if you do have Saturn in Pisces, please note that period of time where Saturn will revisit Pisces, and your return will occur again for that short period of time, which is really not a short period of time. It's August 31st, 2025 to February 13th of 2026. At 6 months. So whatever has not been completed as Saturn sits in Pisces now, you'll have an opportunity to go through that process again when Saturn does its retrograde back into Pisces, which will occur August 31st, 2025. Now, I want to bring it to your attention in regards to Saturn itself started its transit in Pisces back in March 7th, 2023. And will transit into Aries, excuse me, May 25th, 2025. So we have like almost a 2.5 year period where Saturn stays in Pisces until it transits into Aries. So as I said, the second return occurs in the late 50s. So again, as mentioned, Once Saturn moves out of Pisces and moves into Aries, if you happen to have Saturn in Aries, you will go through your Saturn return. The third Saturn return occurs in the late 80s. If you are blessed enough to live into your late 80s, you will experience your third Saturn return. Now, again, after careful research, what I have found is the most intense return is between 27 to 30. Because again, you're moving out of your childhood energies into adult responsibilities. And that's what makes it the most challenging, because at that point in time, you're really up against major decisions for the first time, in theory, in your life. Now, there's a small percentage of people out there, you may fall into this category, that might have had to make some big decisions early on in age. However, keep in mind the first Saturn return doesn't occur until 27. And why did I choose to have this conversation? Why did I choose to want to come and share about the Saturn return energy? The main reason is, if you're a parent like me, and you do have young adults who may be in this age between 25 to 30, you are witnessing your young adult, or maybe as you refer to him or her as your baby, going through some intense, heartbreaking situations, which is extremely, and I can only speak for myself, extremely challenging to witness. To literally be on the other end of that table, or on the end of the phone call, listening to the weeping and the heartache, and really have absolutely nothing you can do. That is the most heartbreaking thing that I have experienced, and still am experiencing in this very moment, is to witness this heartbreak. And this is one of the reasons why I want to come and share with you, so you can have a better understanding of what your young adult may actually be experiencing at this time, and why it may seem as though your young adult's life is literally falling apart. In fact, that's the very expression that was used. Why is my life falling apart? And the answer to that question is, sometimes our lives have to fall apart. So all the pieces, places, and things, and people that do not fit in that scenario fall away, so the right pieces get put back together. And that's why it may seem like their life is falling apart. Now, you being a parent, if you can think back to when you experienced your first Saturn return, what was going on in your life, how you handled it, how you managed it, and what tools you might have had at the time to push through it to get to where you are today, perhaps you can lend that advice and support over to your young adult. One of the biggest advice that I can give, and I've given, is to stay in the present moment. Do not get caught up in the yesterdays. Do not get caught up in the what ifs for tomorrow. And really just stay present in the right now and allowing for the focus on the gratitude. All the amazing things that are going on right now, even though they may be tiny and even hard to see in a moment of darkness, it is so important to stay in a space of gratitude. It is so important to ground your energy. It is so important to make sure as you're going through, whether it's your first Saturn return, it's your second Saturn return, or it's your third Saturn return, that you get outside into nature. Get sunlight, connect with the earth, get by water, and even for that matter, maybe even go to a fire ceremony. So you can be one with yourself. Because although you may be looking for the answers from the outside and you're hoping and praying that someone can give you some insight, this is really about your self-reflection. This is really about your growth. This is about the challenges, and there will be challenges. And some days you're going to really feel like you just can't stay on top. And you can. You can. So I want to read a little something that I wrote regarding the first Saturn return. Again, a big part of tonight's conversation is the first Saturn return, helping those who are between the age of 25 to 30 who may be experiencing their Saturn return and finding it quite challenging to be able to push through, having the most horrific times, and in that mindset of it's never going to end. It will end. It will end. As mentioned, this lasts for 2.5 to 3 years. The process of this is to move through so you can spiritually grow, evolve, see yourself in a different light. Now, I only wish that I was familiar with what's known as the Saturn returns when I went through my first Saturn return. Because knowing the information I have now, I would have known it then, perhaps things would have been a little differently. But here I am sharing this information with you now, so you have this information so you can apply it. So what I'm going to read to you is the first Saturn return helps you to begin to break away from social pressures. This is a time for growth, reflection, redefining your path, your deepest values, and your authentic desires. Hello there, Anne. How are you? And what that really says is this is a time where you break free of habits, beliefs, and philosophies that are not yours, that you are not aligned with, that you are not aligned with. No worries, Anne. I just got started about 24 minutes ago, so you missed a little bit, but you haven't missed a lot. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this out, I'd appreciate it. So we talk about social pressures. Social pressures. What are the social pressures? What are the things that socializing pressures you to do that you may not be aligned with? This is a time for growth, your spiritual growth, your evolution. Really moving into your own, really getting to that space where you are transparent, authentic, and that you think for yourself and you're not being the word I'm hearing, is bullied into thinking the way others think. And that's truly Saturn's energy, because Saturn is about your beliefs. It's about your habits. It's about your philosophies. It's very important, again, for parents who have young adults between the age of 25, 27 to 30, is to support and hold space as they experience their first Saturn return. Give them the support they need, have an open ear to listen when they are in need to talk, and most importantly, even perhaps letting go of the judgment. Because again, the challenges that they may experience based on the human perspective may lead into a sense of 3D energy, which is judgment. And it's so important that we let go of that and we just be in a space of calmness, ease, grace, peace, forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness for the one going through their first Saturn return, forgiving them and reminding them how much they are loved, and reminding them that they will get through the challenges, the self-reflection, and they will grow, and they will find themselves at the other side of this, and they will see the light to the very challenges they're experiencing. And that, yes, like everything else, everything changes. So again, as I mentioned, what's specifically right now for those who are experiencing a Saturn return in Pisces, for right now, especially the next give and take 2.5 days, where we do have the moon sitting in Pisces right now as this lunar partial eclipse, which is amplifying the energy of the Saturn return. And what's known as a trine energy, where we have the moon, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces right now. So it's a very heavy energy because we have 3 planets amplifying the Pisces placement. Now, even though Pisces is about flow, it's about intuition, it's about your psychic abilities, it's about your imagination, it's about your dreams, it's about your higher consciousness, it's also about your addictions. And addiction can be anything from addiction to drugs, to alcohol, to smoking, to shopping, to sex, to working out, to food, gossip, whatever it is that we're doing in excessiveness, that it becomes unhealthy. So it's really important to pay attention. And because we do have Saturn in a retrograde, it's about reviewing. Once Saturn moves forward, things will start to move forward as well. Saturn retrograde started June 29th of 2024 and will end November 15th, 2024. So we still have a little bit of time during this retrograde. And before we know it, this retrograde will be over. And remembering that the retrograde is just about reviewing the energy of Saturn being in Pisces. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, what if I don't have Saturn in Pisces? Let's say you have Saturn in Cancer. You're still experiencing the process of discipline, restructuring your foundation, and your karmic reset. You're just not experiencing a Saturn return. So it's not as intense as someone who's experiencing a Saturn return. So what I like to do with the time that we have, so I'm going to run through each of the zodiac signs based on their house. So if you do have, wherever you have Saturn, because we all have Saturn on our chart, and if you have Saturn in Pisces, I want you to pay real intense attention, so you can basically get the understanding to where your return is taking place, meaning the theme that all this energy is surrounded by. So starting with Saturn in the first house. So if you have Saturn in the first house is self. It's all about you. It's your appearance. It's your I am statement. It's how you want people to see you. It's how you express yourself. It's how you show up. It's your leadership role. All of that you are reviewing because it's self. It's self. And as I always say, the reflection are the people that show up in your life, whether they're family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, or even the person you have no idea who they are, the stranger in the street, that are reflecting something about you and how you are growing spiritually during this return. So that's first house. Second house. This is your relationships with your physical and material possessions. This is your relationship with how you value those physical and material possessions. This is how you value your relationships with others, your body, and your money. This is the relationship you have with yourself, other people, and other people's money. So that's the second house. So if you have Saturn in your second house, that's the theme. That is a theme for you. You have Saturn in your third house. Third house is your experience. It's traveling, it's communication, it's being very meticulous, it's creative, it's artistic, it's learning and listening. It's about higher wisdom, and it's about maybe learning something new. That's the Saturn return. So anything relating to how you see yourself as a scholar, you may be reflecting on that. You may be in your mind thinking that you're not good enough because you don't have that master's degree, or you didn't complete high school, or you really need that one more certificate. So that could be where it's taking place for you, the experience that's taking place. Fourth house. If you have Saturn in your fourth house, that's home. That's family. That is your physical shelter. That is your physical body. And that is also your career, your work that you're here to do. These are the things that are being defined for you. These are the things that may be changing. These are the things where the challenges may be coming through for you because it's your fourth house. Also, when we think about fourth house, remember it is about the feminine energy to be able to receive, the nurturing, the calming, the ease and grace energy. Saturn in your fifth house. This is where you want your freedom. This is where you want change. This is where you may show off on your self-creativity. This is your self-expression. This is where you may want to speak up more. This is where you may want to hold your ground in a conversation. This is where you may want to let your voice be heard. This is where you may want to stand up for what you believe in. That's your fifth house energy. This is your freedom. There's a movement going on for you when you have Saturn in the fifth house. There's massive changes that are happening when you have Saturn in the fifth house. This is your freedom right. when you have Saturn in the fifth house. Saturn in sixth house. This is where you may experience some challenges with your physical body. This is where you may experience some challenges with your routine, being more organized, decluttering, restructuring, throwing things out, letting things go, downsizing, expanding. That's sixth house energy, organized, routine, the practicality, problem solving. During your return, problem solving may be very difficult because you're not able to get the clarity that you're looking for, you're searching for, you're seeking for, because there's just too much going on at one time. Pay attention that if you do have your Saturn return in Pisces in sixth house, you may be experiencing a lot of physical symptoms showing up in your body because it's your body's way of getting you back on track. It's also about reminding you that physical fitness is so important. Physical fitness is so important. Health is important. Meditation is important. Nutrition is important. This is about getting back on track with your mind, your body, your spirit. Your wellness is important. Those who carry their Saturn return, their Saturn in sixth house energy, this is all about your physical body. This is health, fitness, and wellness. Seventh house Saturn, that's balance. That is harmony. That is peace. That's your agreements. That is your contracts. That's what you're married to, meaning your philosophies, your habits. That scale, justifying your wrongs and your rights, your wrongdoings, your right doing. Saturn, your seventh house, is about justifying. It's about all the things you might be weighing out, all the things you've done right, yet you've done that one thing wrong, and that's what you're being penalized for. That's that justifying. That's seventh house energy, Saturn, seventh house. Remember when we talk Saturn return, it is about your spiritual growth. It is about challenges. It's about the whole process of self-reflection, initiating adulthood. Saturn in eighth house. Saturn in eighth house is the darkness, is the secrets. It's other people's money, meaning inheritance, your taxes, your other people's money is what I'm hearing. It's a transformation. It's the 1 foot in, 1 foot out symptom. It's moving through the darkness so you can get to your light. That's the eighth house energy. So if you have Saturn in eighth house, in Pisces specifically, note that this is your darkest moment. Note that this is where your secrets are going to be revealed. Note that this is where you may be evaluating what your worth is from the eighth house. Saturn, ninth house. This is higher consciousness. This is, again, freedom. This is travel. This is change. This is doing things your way. This is also about your dreams. Your dreams may give you a lot of messages to help you get through your Saturn return. This is about your evolution. This is about your higher consciousness. This is about bringing the higher consciousness and the higher wisdom together, that your ego does not play a role so much. Saturn in 10th house. This is about your work. This is about your public affairs, your soul's purpose. This is about why you're here on earth, how to transform from the material job into your soul's job. Remember the discipline, the restructuring. What are you restructuring? So again, if you do have Saturn in 10th house in Pisces, there may be a lot of restructuring going on for you right now. Restructuring in regards to your home, restructuring in regards to work, because maybe there's a career shift happening that may, words I'm hearing, is force you or inspire you to relocate from where you're living. So your home is going to be uprooted based on your soul's career. Saturn in 11th house. Now I'm going to speak on this one personally because that's where my Saturn is, in my 11th house. This is community. This is collaboration. This is the vision. This is the connections. This is being authentic. This is being transparent. So Saturn in the 11th house is really about standing for what you believe in. It's really about standing true to yourself. So again, the self-growth, the self-reflection, the self-growth, pushing past and allowing yourself to create boundaries so you can create and collaborate and allow yourself to expand in your biggest vision. Saturn in 12th house. Now, when we think Saturn in 12th house, Saturn in 12th house is the mystery. It's the process of the evolution. It's the process of the secrets. It's the process of the physical and the mystical. And Saturn in the 12th house carries all 12 zodiac signs. So it's all the energy. It's the intuition. It's heightening the intuition, your psychic abilities, your ability to be intuitive, your ability to be mastering, your ability to be authentic, your ability to be the leader, your ability to be inspiring. That is Saturn 12th house energy, the dreamer, the imagination, the imaginative, the creator, the content writer, the performer, the singer, the anything in reference to allowing yourself to create, to come away from the 3D lifestyle and allowing yourself to truly believe that whatever your spiritual gifts are, you can expand into that and truly make a living from it. So again, the self-reflection of letting go of habits, beliefs, and philosophies that are not aligned with you, so you can go ahead and live out your dream that may seem dreamy. So when we think about Saturn and its house placement, wherever these house placements are and whatever Saturn is in for you, you now have a basic understanding to what the houses mean and what the theme would mean for you. Good to see you again, Anne. So for me, I have Saturn, as mentioned, in my 11th house. I happen to have it in Taurus. So now to add a little more to the equation, to the story, is again, Taurus is associated with second house. It's the physical material possession. It's the different relationships that I have with myself, with others, and with money as well. How I value all of that. So because I do have Saturn in Taurus in my 11th house, when I do go through my Saturn return, when Saturn enters Taurus, in another 6 years from now, I believe, give and take. So probably 2029, when Saturn will enter Taurus. At that point in time, where I'll experience my second Saturn return, that's where the energy of collaborating and connecting and community will really come into play. People that will be peeling away and new people that will be coming in. How I value those relationships, those partnerships. Because again, Taurus energy is about money. Your money and other people's money, the partnerships that you have, and the service and how I serve. That's that Saturn energy. Interesting enough, hopefully by that period of time when I will be 59, I'll have myself together and I'll know exactly where everything is, and the second Saturn return will be more fun and interesting versus as much as challenging and hectic. So again, I share this with you because I really wanted all of you to be in the knowing and the understanding that we all experience Saturn returns. Most of us experience 2. Or let me say it this way. Most of us experience 3. Some of us only experience 2. And this is really based on your lifespan. So the first, again, as mentioned, first Saturn return occurs between 27 to 30. Lasts about 2.5 to 3 years. So if you have young adults and they're in that age group, please give them grace, ease, calmness, light, and love. Be understanding. Be forgiving to whatever it is that they're going through. Even if whatever they're going through happens to impact you. Because this is part of their self-reflection. This is part of their spiritual growth. This is a part of them really moving more into initiating their adulthood. Becoming more responsible. Being able to make decisions. Choosing wisely. If you have the opportunity to offer insight, offer it as insight, not demanding they do it. And I truly believe once we get through the first Saturn return, the other Saturn returns are a little easier. Now, I do want to bring to your attention that when we talk about Saturn returns include losses. Loss of job, loss of loved ones, and that's a part of the Saturn return. So it is challenging, and through the challenges we grow. So I want to pull a card for those who are experiencing their Saturn return as we speak, where Saturn right now is in Pisces. And I'm going to review those dates again. So if you did not get a chance to write them, I'm going to review them again so you can write them again. I'm going to first pull a card for our Saturn returns in Pisces, experiencing your Saturn return in Pisces. Now, do note that if you are in your late 50s, you're experiencing your Saturn return as well. It's not only for those who are, well, actually it is, so excuse me. Let's scratch that off. Gonna delete that. Whoops, there goes the card. Let me see if I don't drop the whole entire deck. A perfect card for our message. For our Saturn returns in Pisces, for those who are in the age bracket of 27 to 30, wherever you are in your journey right now, know that clarity is coming. You have clarity. Just by listening to this, just by watching this live, is giving you clarity of knowing that, first of all, you're not alone. Every one of us experiences a Saturn return. Every one of us goes through challenges. Every one of us goes through self-reflection. Every one of us goes through a spiritual growth. Every one of us goes through growth. Every one of us goes through those moments of times where it just seems like nothing's right. It just seems like everything's challenging. It just seems like everything's falling apart. And if you've said out loud or to yourself, why does my life feel like it's falling apart? Know that that's why. Things are falling apart, so the things that no longer need to be there fall away to make space for what does need to be there. I cannot tell you how many times I've used that expression when I went through my Saturn return. Why does it feel like my life is falling apart? Why does it feel like this chapter is falling apart? Now, before I go more into the card, I do want to bring to your attention that you may actually, even if you're not experiencing a Saturn return at 27 to 30, and maybe you are my age, maybe you're older, you may be feeling as though you're in a space of like self-reflecting and different challenges and spiritual growth, because again, with Saturn being retrograde right now, it does bring us all, not just those going through their return, it brings us all back to March 7th of 2023, when Saturn entered Pisces. So think back a year ago. What was going on in your life when Saturn entered Pisces? What was going on at that very time? This is an opportunity to do some reflecting, do some bullets, write down on a piece of paper what was going on in your life at that time. Saturn is discipline. Saturn is structure. Saturn is your foundation. Saturn is your karmic reset. What was going on in your life at that time when Saturn entered Pisces? Pisces is about bringing things into flow. So you may not actually be experiencing a Saturn return, but you are definitely experiencing a Saturn energy of self-discovery, self-reflection, self-growth, and challenges. So because you are experiencing that just as well as someone who's in their return, this is where we get a chance to have ease and grace with one another and hold space for everybody, because we're all experiencing something. And your clarity is right here, knowing that you're exactly where you need to be. And there's absolutely nothing that's going on in your life that's not supposed to be happening. So if you are in your darkest moments right now, know it's supposed to happen. Know if you are feeling as though your life is falling apart, it's supposed to happen. Know that if you're experiencing a challenge and addiction and overwhelmness, you're constant in a state of tears, you're exactly where you need to be. The number 29 in numerology adds to 11. 11 is known as a master number, the master healer. As you go through your Saturn return, or you go through your Saturn energy in Pisces, wherever your Saturn is on your chart, know that you are mastering and healing something. This is your time to heal. This is your time to let go of what no longer serves you. Your habits, beliefs, philosophies that are no longer aligned with who you are becoming, because you are spiritually growing, evolving. This is your time to master and heal and let it go. The chakra to work on is the heart center of having compassion for self, and then extend that compassion out to others. I'm going to pull a card for those who are experiencing or will be experiencing their Saturn return in their late 50s. So again, Saturn will be entering Aries May 24th, 2025. That is when Saturn will enter Aries. So if you have Saturn in Aries, know that you will be starting your Saturn return. So if you have Saturn in the Aries, know that your Saturn return is coming. So this card is for those who are going to be experiencing their Saturn return in their late 50s. Your card's in reverse. It's about play. Play, but it's in reverse. So there's going to be a little bit of resistance. A little bit of resistance in regards to playing. Because when we are in a spiritual evolution, when we are going through our darkest moments, play seems to be a challenge. Because we tend to be thinking about the past or we're thinking about the future and we're not thinking of now. So this card is just letting you know that maybe you really have to be mindful of playing. Be playful in your conversations and be playful when you are conversating. 1, 6, and 7. This is about balance, bringing balance into your daily routine, bringing balance into whatever it is you are experiencing when you experience your Saturn return. This is for the ones who are experiencing Saturn return in the late 50s. And that will be your second Saturn return. As I said, those who are blessed enough to live into the late 80s, this card's going to be for you. And I haven't done the math that far forward to know where Saturn will be when someone's in their late 80s. I could probably look at my father's chart, but don't have it in front of me because that would give me a hint. Because he is 78. So for those who are in their late 70s, 78, 79, 80, generations after that will experience their third return. Your card is communication. Communication. Being able to communicate during that time in your return. Tell your stories. Share those stories, all the things you remembered about your life. Write them down now. So if, as you get to that point in your life, you can share those stories. 12 is the experience of those stories. And then I'm going to pull one more card, and that card is going to be for all of us, as Saturn is in Pisces, in its retrograde. What can we expect as Saturn sits in Pisces in its retrograde during this lunar partial eclipse, and with the help of Neptune, all in Pisces? What a card. Career change. Now you may be sitting back and saying to yourself, well, I'm retired. What kind of career change will I have? Even if you are retired, as long as you have a pulse and you're still here, you still have work to do. So recognize how that soul's work changes for you. Concentrate on your third eye, which allows you to see the vision. What vision do you hold for yourself regarding the work that you're here to do? We're back to number 7 again. When we talk about that 7, it is about balance. It is about harmony. It's about justifying. And that's what we talk about when we talk about Saturn's energy. Saturn is discipline. Saturn is your karmic reset. Saturn is about what are you restructuring? What are you restructuring? What are you resetting? You're the creator here. You are the content right creator. So you get to create it by the content you are writing. So focus on that vision. There you have it, guys. There you have it. And I am hearing to pull one more card, and that is when Saturn goes direct. And Saturn will go direct on November 16, 2024. So what will we need to, what can we expect when Saturn goes direct? So Saturn in retrograde, all about the career change. Saturn going direct, higher wisdom. That's what we can expect. Where we learn to think for ourselves, we learn to transform our beliefs, we learn to restructure our foundation, we learn to create a discipline. 3 and 6 is 9. This is about what you can let go of during this retrograde. So once Saturn goes direct, you're ready for your transformation. We're back to the high heart energy about compassion, ease, and grace again. So there you have it. Love, love, love the cards that showed up for this Saturn energy. Love that information. So again, just to recap, and as I said, I was going to share the dates with you one last time as we're coming to the end. So just to recap on the energy. Saturn entered Pisces March 7th of 2023. Will stay in Pisces until May 24th of 2025. Its retrograde cycle started June 29th of 2024 and ends November 15th, 2024. Saturn will re-retrograde August 31st of 2025 to February 13th of 2026. Remember that Saturn will enter Aries May 25th, 2025. And when Saturn enters Aries, there's going to be a moment in time where Saturn is going to retrograde back into Pisces, giving us all a chance for one last time during that 6-month period from August to February 2026 to really work on what are we restructuring? What are we restructuring? All right, there we have it. I do hope that you found tonight's conversation to be helpful, insightful, and that if you do know any young adult who is between the age of 27 and 30, who may very well be going through their Saturn return, please, please, please encourage them to listen to this or watch this video so they too can better understand where their challenges are, where they are self-reflecting from, and how they will grow and initiate their adulthood. Because again, the house that Saturn in Pisces sits is the theme. So again, thank you. So again, the theme of the house is really where the challenges are. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you have comments, questions, if you wish to schedule yourself a personal, private astrology reading to become more astute in regards to your chart, feel free to email healingwithin76@gmail.com. If you are watching from Facebook, you can just go ahead and message me. If you are interested in diving in more deeply, soul searching in your astrological and numerology makeup, I will be offering my 12-week course in February 2025. Feel free to reach out for more information about the course, possibly get yourself registered for the course. I do keep this the group small, so this way here I can provide enough one-on-one attention in the group. So the group is only open to 6 people in the class. If you would like to attend that, please let me know. You can email again. Email is scrolling through, healingwithin76@gmail.com. And one final thing I want to put out there. Next week, starting September 22nd, which is this weekend coming up, September 22nd through September 29th, I am offering a spotlight interview with 6 amazing speakers who will be speaking at the Cosmic Evolution Summit this October. I would love for you to attend each of the speakers' spotlight interviews so you can get to know more about them and it will get you excited for October 27, 2024. If you are interested in attending the Spotlight interview, just go ahead and message me. It will be streaming live on my usual platforms right here on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's all I have for you for tonight. Until we meet again, have an amazing, amazing rest of this week. And I'm sure I'll be back to share some more wisdom and insight with each and every one of you. Enjoy your Saturn Pisces energy. And again, for those experiencing your first Saturn return, know that I am sending love and light out to you. And just know that you are spiritually growing. Bye-bye for now.